morning, everybody. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. First off, thank you for everyone being here, given the weather outside. I hope everyone made it safely. It looks like we do have a quorum, and who do we have online?
Online, we have Mr. Weekly.
Oh, perfect, okay. All right. The first thing we need to do is adopt the agenda that's presented. Does everyone have a copy or has seen it digitally on the panel?
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
All right, the motion's been made and seconded to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Next, we need to approve the minutes from the October 7th meeting. Those are included in the digital packet. If you haven't had a chance to review those, I think Stacy's printing some, so.
We can either, if the minutes have been reviewed digitally, they were sent out last week, then great. If not, we can move it to the end of the meeting if we want a chance to look at them since they're printing.
Does anybody want some extra time? Are we good? I will note the only new business we had did not have any action to it, so there's just description notes on it, so it was pretty simple meeting. Anybody want to make a motion, or we want to?
Move to approve.
All right. All right, the motion's been made and seconded to adopt the minutes as presented in the digital packet from October 7th. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. So we'll go ahead and move to new business. We have some new faces here today, so this purpose of this committee and meeting is really more of a discussion. So feel free to ask questions. We want to ask questions too to get you kind of prepared for the next steps in the civic course here in Madison County. So informal, don't be nervous. Now's your chance to kind of get some of the hard stuff out of the way. So with that being said, we'll move into the first case.
Mr. Chairman, if I may interrupt just a moment. If you care to say anything, please just grab a microphone. We've got one in front, and we can pass another one around as need be, since we do have a member online, and others will watch it later as well. So, thank you.
And this is recorded, so just so you know. All right, Hal Meyer has requested an exploratory meeting seeking a duplex on property identified as 4185 Orange Road and further identified as Madison County Tax Map 57-118B Bravo. The subject property is zoned agriculture A1 and is 1.489 acres. A duplex is a special permit use in the A1 zoning district under Madison County Code of Ordinances, Appendix 1, Article 4-2-18. Mr. Nichols, any details on this one?
Just a couple of quick things on this one. So this property is on Orange Road, and it's a simple brick home, and the way that it's arranged, it would suit well for conversion to a duplex. Now, as far as the special use permits required, duplexes are a special permit use in the A1 district. This property is a little bit unique because the minimum area requirement for uses in A1 is 3 acres. This property is about 1.5 acres now. It's non-conforming. It existed prior to the ordinance in that way, and the way that I interpret the ordinance is that a duplex is a single use. It's a single dwelling that's designed for 2 families. So oftentimes we get in the weeds on the issues of, we need 3 acres per dwelling. It's 3 acres per use. But the property's already non-conforming, which is fine. I've cited the ordinance in here that says that it's fine for non-conforming lots. So I think that this is an appropriate use for what's here, and it doesn't matter that it's 1.5 instead of 3.
Mr. Meyer, would you like to address and give any comments on the property itself if you have anything else? And then also, we do have stakeholders from the health department being out here today. They'll weigh in as well. So just want to make sure that realize that some of the folks in the audience are part of the panel.
Let me say this. I'm not planning to increase the density of the home. It will stay the same. That's another factor I think that will play into it.
Thank you. Questions from the panel?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I don't mind. May I ask a question?
Please do, Mr. Weekly.
Question for the pre-applicant. I just heard you reference that you don't plan to change the density, and certainly VDH being there's a stakeholder today is welcome. They'll have more insight. What's the current bedroom, bathroom? I believe this house is sold. But what's the bedroom, bathroom, so we know kind of the density that you're looking to stick with, and then be interested to hear what VDH has to say when Chairman calls upon them. My main thing is I'm looking at well and septic. To be able to hold the maximum occupancy you have planned for this site.
The bedrooms approved for this house is 3 bedrooms. And I would have 1 bedroom in the smaller apartment on the left and 2 bedrooms on the right.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Just to clarify, you are planning on simply remodeling the existing structure,
Yes.
no increase in the number of bedrooms?
You're right.
Number of bathrooms?
Right.
Okay. All within the existing footprint?
Yeah.
No additions?
No additional footprint, no.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll have a question as well. I'll go ahead and bring in one of our stakeholders, VDOT. Parking area on this, and I'm assuming maximum capacity of the house, you're estimating at how many occupants total?
Well, two family units.
So eight is probably what we're looking at, a couple of cars. It's the same as
Yeah.
a,
Yeah.
for you, John.
And there's plenty of room to park there.
Okay.
So, we have a pre-existing private entrance, and a private entrance is good up to 2 dwellings, so there shouldn't be any modification of any type of entrance for us.
Perfect. Thanks, John.
As far as the health department, so it is kind of a change of use in our realm, going from a single family to a multi-family home. So you would need to get a wastewater characterization from a PE.
Maybe you could describe what that is.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds worse than it is. It's not very painful. You would just go with a soil scientist. They work with engineers, and whatever your intentions are, they work out the formulas for the wastewater use, which if it's remaining 3 bedrooms, it should be very simple. And that's all that we would require. And then if it's existing well, we always recommend, getting bacterial tests annually.
Okay. Yes, thank you.
The only discussion I think that I want to dive a little bit deeper before, if this does go to the next level, is the non-conforming lots. Does anyone up here have thoughts specifically to this one being a non-conforming lot and the use as prescribed? I mean, Mr. Nichols, we imagine there's.
I have a
some-
comment, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Weekly, go ahead.
And Mr. Nichols is better positioned on this, and I'm thankful for the work he does. Is there any language, I know we talked about it at planning commissions and cases in the past, but I don't know if it actually exists in our ordinance, so we gotta deal with what exists versus, what we may think. When it comes to non-conforming lot, and I know this is being applied for, I guess it's a special use permit for the use. We've talked before about improving use, meaning, is there any, requires that or not?
Mr. Weekly, we lost you for about the last 10 seconds there. If you want to repeat the final, you turned into a robot for a second.
Yeah, sorry about that. My question was, Chairman, for Mr. Nichols, and certainly if it's not available, I mean, we sometimes have to look things up. Planning commission at meetings in the past, when we've talked about non-conforming lots, and this is unique because we haven't discussed it from a duplex point of view. I think we've looked at more lot size and things are being divided. When it comes to non-conforming lots, is there anything requiring it if you're making changes to become conforming? Or as long as it, in this case, meets the SUP allowance, there's not a requirement to make it conforming as far as lot size and use.
There is no requirement that I have found to make it conforming. Of course, anytime that we have changes in the size of sites, folks want to do boundary line adjustments or subdivisions. We're not making any new non-conforming lots, and we're encouraging folks to make them better as we have the opportunity. But I was not able to find anything that said that you had to make it conforming before adopting one of the by right or special permit uses.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Nichols. The only thing I think I can come close to remembering in the last 10 years or so, we had a conversion of a home on 29 southbound as you cross the Robinson, go up the hill before you get to 7-Eleven. It's a house with a basement, and someone wanted to convert that, and it was approved to a kind of apartment setup. So, seems like there may be precedence for it. Thank you, Mr. Nichols.
And I'll take a moment too to the applicant. We spoke a lot on ordinance code right there. Did you understand kind of what we were referring to with non-conforming with it's the lot size under 3 acres of A1. So that's, I just wanted to make sure everyone was on the same page. We tend to do that, so. Any further questions, Mr. Wilkes?
Well, I'm just going to speak to it from the building code perspective. This is, it looks like it was built in around 61, so that's pre-USBC, before the building code. So there's no CO, which is okay. But what you're going to do is basically call a change of occupancy. You're going to change from a single family to a 2-family dwelling. And there's certain requirements. We had talked about the biggest one, there has to be fire separation, a 1-hour firewall. I mean, technically, you could have a half hour if you have sprinklers, but I doubt that's going to happen. So a 1-hour firewall, and then there's other things, but we can discuss. And at the end, we would issue a CO. So there's actually a certificate of occupancy, because one doesn't exist. But it'd be for a 2-family dwelling.
Any further questions for the applicant or Mr. Nichols? How do we feel about this one? Any action? Moving this to the planning commission, is that? Is that an official motion? No, all right. All right, the motion has been made and seconded to move the case number TBD to the planning commission, which would occur at our next meeting, which is, I should know. It'll be next month.
Wednesday, and
Okay,
we'll get it.
we'll get it to you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Thank you, sir. And Mr. Nichols
All
will
right,
follow
and
up
to
with
the
you.
applicant, but say, we'll be in touch with next steps. It'll go like we talked about. Nope,
You're more
you're
than
welcome to stay
leave.
if you'd like, or you're welcome to go. Fair enough. You
And
just kindly
you'll
hand the
pass it to
microphone
Mr.
the folks
Hinchy
behind you.
probably, I imagine will take it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, the second case of the day, Mr. Stephen Found, on behalf of Leonard and Lori Peters, has requested exploratory meeting seeking an event venue on property identified as 868 Novum Church Road and further identified as Madison County Tax Map 24-38. The subject property is zoned agricultural A1 and is 152.624 acres. An event venue is a special permit use in the A1 zoning district under Madison County Code of Ordinances, Appendix 1, Article 14-18. Mr. Nichols?
Yes, so I met a week or so ago with Mr. Found and Mr. Hinchy. Mr. Found is acting as the agent of the owners in this case, about an event venue on this property. We'll get the map pulled up here so we can look at it together. So it's got frontage on both Hoover Road and Novum Church Road. The venue being proposed for weddings, essentially. So we talked about it, and I gave the requirements that our ordinance gives for the presentation of this material. And they've done a very good job of putting together a thorough information packet on this one with their proposals of how they'd like to operate. But the applicant will do a much better job of presenting their vision than I will, so I'd like to give them the opportunity to do that.
And we'll pass it, and please identify yourself just for the record as well whenever you're speaking, since there's several.
Thank you. My name is Stephen Found, and we're thrilled to be here this morning. Thank you for the opportunity to come and present the vision for this property. And thank you to Mr. Nichols for guiding us to this point. I met Leonard and Lori a couple months ago, and we became fast friends. So when the word agent is thrown around, there's not really any legal standing to that. It's more about friendship at this point than it is anything, and a little bit of experience that allows us to check the right boxes, cross the T's and dot the I's. So really what I'd like you to hear this morning is Mr. Peters and Mrs. Peters' heart on the matter, and let them kind of take it from here. So I'm going to hand the mic to Leonard.
Good morning, everybody. I'm just going to read some notes that we had wrote. Good morning, chair members and commission and county staff. We fell in love, well, first, this is my wife, Lori Peters, of 28 years, been together 30. This is my youngest son, Logan. We have 4 kids and 11 grandkids. So it's a lot, I know. We fell in love with Madison County long before we ever thought about developing this property. What drew us here and kept us here is the land, the open space, just the beauty, the peace of Madison County. Our vision is to create a small, nature-forward, rural venue that allows families, visitors to celebrate life, just important memories, moments in a way that respects the land and the people we call home, and of course the neighbors. We're not trying to create a high density, a big commercial operation. This is all new to us, but my passion is strong for the venue. We're trying to create a place that preserves the beauty of the farm by sharing it in a respectful way. So that's kind of where we're at now.
Thank you very much. And I will say the packet, as Mr. Nichols commented earlier, is done very well. Marvin's been through this one a few times, so I imagine he has a hand in that, but, and you, yeah. At this point, I'll turn it over for questions from the panel to you guys. I'm assuming that most of our specific questions have been addressed in this bulleted form. I don't have many myself, so looking to my peers here.
I'll ask the main one. You mentioned neighbors, so please let us know if you've spoken to them, because that's where we tend to run into some issues sometimes.
The farm, the 130-acre farm to the left of me is vacant. Is an elderly lady. She went to Harrisonburg, and the 126-acre on the other side, a guy's renovating the house. I think he's a captain in Alexandria Police Department, something like that, getting ready to retire. And we've talked through text, and he's excited. But his land, the house is unlivable, so it's roughly over 250 acres. It's quiet, and that's the backside of my property where the venue would be. So way up front on the West Hoover Road is homes with 5-acre lots, but I'm far from them.
Also to pick up on that, we certainly realize that talking to neighbors and letting everybody know what's happening way before anything happens is really important. So we were just talking actually this morning about ideas to invite folks over and to say hello, have a cup of coffee, and, rather than keep them out, bring them in so that, we start off on the right foot in terms of, making everybody a part of what's going on. And then down the road, the plan would be in terms of managing the venue itself would be to put in place ways that the neighbors could connect with us if they had questions about what's happening today, or what's that noise, or what's that light, that kind of thing, so that we were proactive about, being good neighbors with regards to the venue.
I guess I will take a second. It's kind of phased through here. Would y'all kind of verbally go through the phases of expansion, what you're expecting to do in like 6 months, a year, and then when there's actual construction?
Yeah, so, and I think Marvin probably could help us a little bit with this as well, but the goal is to have a couple of phases. So rather than start off with a big expense up front and a large building, say like a barn, it would be something as simple as a pad, a space to have an event-by-event tent you put up would be the concept. Naturally, things like utilities and parking and that kind of thing would want to be in place in that initial phase, so we didn't have to go back through all of that when the phase 2 part of it came in. So basically, you'd be looking at tent events to begin with, and then as time goes by, and certainly, you know, Leonard and Lori are you know, leading the charge on whether or not now's the right time, or, but I have never seen as much enthusiasm for a project as these guys are enthusiastic about it. So, but, you know, naturally, the success of the venue is going to dictate how quickly we can get to the second phase. Did you want to say anything? Okay.
And I'll go ahead and open it up to the stakeholders, because I know tents, we're talking probably porta-johns and things like that, so probably want to get Emily involved sooner rather than later on that, and then John for VDOT, we'll just jump into those, and then we'll probably have some follow-ups.
Okay. So have y'all worked with a soil scientist as far as your, I guess in the future for your event structure?
We haven't got that far yet.
You haven't got that far. Okay, so early on, you're planning on tents and porta potties, that kind of thing?
Yes,
Okay.
just starting off that direction.
Okay. And those would be like single-day events or what have
If it's
you?
an event happens, it's just going to be one a day. So, and then cutoff time would be like during the weekdays, 9 o'clock, and weekend 10, it would, you know, quiet
Okay.
down.
Okay.
Respecting the neighbor thing.
Yeah, so that's understandable, you know, early on, bringing in porta johns, but please note that it can't go on forever as far as,
Right,
because people, you know, don't like to look at porta johns.
right.
And so you just would need to plan for the future as you expand your business.
Yeah, and we would expect that to be an event-by-event basis in terms of porta-johns and that sort of stuff. So it would come in, be there for the event, and go out. But, you know, they have those fancy high-end ones that people feel really nice about. But, you know, that's the goal, is it's not going to sit there forever. It'll be gone after the event. And I did have a question just for our information. You said soil scientist. Help us to understand how that works in this process and when someone like that should be engaged.
Whenever you plan to move forward with your whatever structure you're going to build, and knowing what your intention is for number of people, you know, and you want to always want to, you know, we like to see it at least design on the most maximum population that would be coming to your event. So yeah, you know, it just depends on how far away, you know, that you plan on for more of a permanent type of structure.
So it wouldn't have to be something that's upfront necessarily for phase 1.
No, I mean, and of course, you know, you have to talk with your, you know, partners here in Madison as far as the county government. But yeah, I mean, but again, phase 1, you know, can't last forever. But it's always a good idea to see what's involved. I know Mr. Hinchy, I think he probably has some folks he works with as far as designing, you know, a drain field. And then the other part is the water supply. Depending on the numbers, you'll probably have to reach out to the Office of Drinking Water because they would regulate the water source for a commercial type event like this.
Thank you.
And I'll chime in here as well. It's on the budgetary side, drain fields, and especially if it perks for a certain, you can really throw off your budget projections. So it may be helpful to get it earlier so you know what you're spending for the septic. Emily, you good on your topic? John, what are you saying?
So,
That's your,
anticipating in the beginning.
I would say 50 to 110, 120.
Okay, so I'm gonna, I think Mr. Henchy is up to date with the VDOT entrances. You could probably start off with a moderate volume to begin with, but there's a limit of 200 trips a day. And a trip is one trip in and one trip out. So when somebody comes to visit, that's 2 trips. So that'll handle 100 cars. So it might be in your best interest for him to go ahead and design a full commercial entrance. There are several in the road design manual available. And go ahead and get that put in up front. And then once you get that put in, there's no limitation.
Sounds
So,
good.
you know, standard commercial entrance goes from 51 trips to infinity.
Oh,
It just,
okay.
you know, he's gonna design it for what your overall intention is, more than likely. And, you know, places like King's Dominion have several entrances and several exits, not that you're gonna get that big, but, you know, it's, once we hit commercial entrance, it should take care of everything unless it just really blows up. There's mud.
No, I think that's real helpful.
Okay, good.
And we were obviously considerate of the road and the entrance and all of that and the neighbors and traffic in and out. So it's great to hear your input in terms of how many and the numbers and the regulations and all of that. So it fits right in line with, because, you know, 50 to 110 at first, but we'd probably go up to the maximum. But now it sounds like with that commercial entrance, we have a lot of flexibility there, as long as we keep everybody happy, yeah.
Once you build that, it's, you know, it's behind you. It's no other hurdle in front of you. So, getting that, the commercial entrance construction is not bad. You're gonna need a permit from VDOT, of course. But, the hard part is usually the site distance.
Yeah.
So I assume Mr. Hingy's gonna come up with a site plan, and he'll send it to our office, and we'll look at it and send it back to Madison.
All right, thank you.
And again, just the comment, as Tracy alluded to earlier, neighbors just going through this, event venues, it's noise and it's traffic. Those are usually your two that everyone asks questions about. So, especially since you're phasing it, you know, the conversation I would probably recommend would be, if you phase 1, traffic numbers, and, you know, thinking of someone coming home or going late at night and there's 50 cars that weren't there, like,
Right.
just those conversations. And then as it grows to, you know, up to 250 cars potentially. So, yeah, those are going to be your 2 questions, probably, most likely. And then on the noise ordinance, again, that's just one we don't have an ordinance, on the noise hours that you have here, I mean, you've already volunteered, and have you talked about proffers? Proffers, whenever you go into a special use permit, are voluntary.
in this case, Mr. Chairman, point of order, that's
please.
we're not rezoning, we're doing a special use permit, so
Okay.
we're doing conditions over
Oh,
proffers.
conditions,
So,
sorry, yep.
Yeah.
So volunteering a time like y'all have already done in the bullets here, again, this is, I know, not official, but those things will go a long way with neighbors, kind of outlining what the
Okay.
times of noise will be.
I will add a kind of building on what Zach was saying. It's been our experience, as already been mentioned, number one, neighbors.
Yes, sir.
Get them on your side. Number 2, probably the next biggest problem is going to be noise abatement. Your proposed site is going to be on a high spot, it looks like from the topo map. And I don't see much in the way of buffering. It looks like a fence line with some trees on it there on both sides of this. Do you have any plans for for that situation, just sound buffering, visual buffering around the perimeter of
Like we spoke earlier, phase one would be less people, the tents and the cutoff at 9, possibly earlier. And then depending on how that moves forward dictates, the barn, which, soundproof and, and of course respecting the neighbors.
Yeah, and to be frank, this is a very general plan at this point, and so, but we're looking into things like berms, things like additional greenery, trees, bushes, that sort of stuff, to not only beautify the site, but also to help minimize, flow of sound across the field, that kind of thing. So yeah, I appreciate you bringing it up, because it's certainly something that we want to be, extra careful with, especially if we have a phased development. We can get some of that stuff planted, and these guys are experts when it comes to, so, yeah. The landscaping here is not an issue in terms of, all that, and we'll make it dual use in terms of helping with sound.
Excellent. Yeah, and just looking at the proposal, it looks like you've pretty well looked through the ordinance on event venues, so it looks like you're online. That's usually one of the other stumbling blocks. So the only other thing, your entrance is from Novum Church Road, right?
Yes, sir.
If there's someone in the neighborhood that takes a notion to, they're going to talk about traffic. So you're aware of that. That's another potential problem. But even though you're only talking about 100, 150 cars or something like that, this is by no means shall we say, a primary highway. So you may need to think about that ahead of time too.
Yes,
If
sir.
there's going to be pushback from any of the neighbors, that's probably where it's going to come from.
And just to add on, most of our public comments are pretty reasonable, but, at times the drivers are drunk and they're 7 years old and they've never been behind a wheel before, so just be prepared for some very vivid comments and imagination coming if it goes that way, so. But also something to think about, alcohol, things like that neighbors generally are concerned about, so, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask a question?
Please, Mr. Weekly, go ahead.
And I'd like to rope Mr. Gordon in on this. He's our expert there when it comes to fire and first response. First off, to the applicant and their representative, and Marvin, I'm going to give you credit too, sir. Well put together plan and summary. To Mr. Whitman's point, you've done a lot reviewing ordinances and addressing that up front. I think that goes a long way. I did notice, so I just heard the access coming to this property for this event venue will be off Novum Church Road. I did notice there's an existing bridge there. We're not stating you got to put in some superstructure or whatever. I just like to kind of get an understanding what bridge is there. We're always thinking about, planning for the worst, but, hopefully never occurs. So first response, whether it's an ambulance, fire truck, anything needs to get across that structure to the site. Do you know the gross weight limit on that bridge, or what type of bridge it's there?
Yes, sir. We had put in a pool this early spring, and all I know is an oversized crane had crossed that bridge going over Deep Run, and it was crane was twice the size I thought it would be, but it made it up fine. And my trucks, I'm not sure of the weight limit, but it handled that big crane. So.
Brian, you got any thoughts on that? I mean, again, these are private bridges. I doubt they're stamped, like VDOT has records of all that. How do you guys address that from the fire department? Just ensuring that things safe across.
Yeah, there are tons of bridges like this in the county. If you took a crane across that, our heaviest piece of apparatus is about 65,000 pounds. There's going to be no problem at all getting apparatus across that bridge. My only concern is if you had a flooding event with people on the other side of that bridge, is there another way across that creek if that bridge were to go out?
I've actually, the few years that we've been there, I've actually watched heavy rains come in, and it will recede over the bridge, go over the bridge, and within 15 minutes, it's down. Okay. Just the way It's not an old bridge. The old bridge that the older gentleman had was, the farmer that leases my land said it was pretty rough. But this one, I believe, was designed by VDOT. It's really top notch, so.
Okay.
What kind of bridge is it? Is it concrete?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
It's
okay.
a solid concrete with I think it's eight channels underneath. It's
Yeah.
Is there any plans on that entrance coming in? Because I'm looking, a couple things here. You're in a flood zone, so everything's permitted in a flood zone.
yes, sir.
Are you planning on improving that roadway that's coming through there? Or I've never been to the site, so,
I am. It's I want to say close areas. I have a nice 953 track loader that my father-in-law, he's been operating for over 50 years. We're going to widen that road coming in certain spots. It's pretty solid, but some spots on it need some attention.
okay. So that's no big deal. It's just, we're sticklers on being compliant with the NFIP, the Flood Insurance
sir.
Program, so it has to be permitted, which is no big deal. I'm just gonna touch base on phase one, from a building code. When you install tents for events, you gotta get a permit, which is no big deal. Typically, most people hire one of the tent companies, and they'll come get a permit, we'll inspect it, make sure everything's good, and then with the porta potties, so long as the health department is good with it, that's fine, for a temporary basis. Sometimes we stress that a lot, because some people think temporary means 15 years, and
Sure.
we have a different opinion.
I understand that.
And then eventually, when you get to phase two, where you actually build your event venue, it's gonna be classified as an assembly building. And of course, you have to have an engineer design it, and we'll review it and do inspections and all, but that's down the road, I understand.
Yes, sir.
In that building, do you plan on having like a commercial kitchen? Because that's gonna affect your wastewater stuff with the health department.
As far as the kitchen, the future kitchen, we haven't spec'd that out yet. The thought at this point is it's more of a caterer's kitchen, if you will, where we're not, we don't have a hood and a stove and, where we would be doing full-time food prep. It'd be more like a sink and some counter space, maybe a refrigerator, that sort of stuff. Just something basic so that a catering company could come in and prepare kind of behind the scenes a meal and then serve it to the
And that's
the group
fine.
that's
It's just something when you do engage at OSC, they need to be made aware of what you're gonna put in there, because that's gonna affect what they design.
Okay.
I have one other question. Y'all mentioned a pool in there. Are y'all living on the property right now, or is it?
Yes.
Y'all are living on the property?
We are.
Okay. And so it's not an Airbnb, it's y'all's a full-time?
No.
The reason I ask, have y'all talked about site visits potentially from the planning commission members coming to the site, or? Okay. At times, if this goes to the next level, planning commission members may ask to come and look at the site ahead of time.
Absolutely.
So, okay, just wanted to give y'all a heads up that could occur since it's your primary residence.
I have a question for Mr. Nguyen. If you would sorry. If you could, if you could give me, Novum Church Road is a 30-foot right-of-way going through there. It's gravel. It's going to come up. Can you give me your general thoughts on utilization rates for roads like this? I've been up there a couple of times. I don't see anything other than farm traffic for the most part, but I'd be curious for your thoughts.
So, it's a state road. They can build a commercial entrance off of it. They don't have to meet access management requirements because it's a local road. The majority, I'd say 95% of the commercial entrances are paved. There might be one Mr. Hinchy can dig out of the book that might get away with gravel, but most of them are paved. They're usually 2 lanes wide. So incoming traffic and outgoing traffic can traverse at the same time, and there's no standing on the road. That's even better for a smaller road like this. That's traffic would congest it easily. 609 on the other side is a different story. That's a whole lot bigger road, paved, a whole lot wider lanes, that might be a better situation for a later date, but I think this would work on this side. I mean, we don't deal with anything off the right of way, but it's a state road, and, I mean, I've had plans that where the road has 40 vehicles a day, and the plan tripled the road volume. That's just the way it is, so,
All right.
that's how you get your traffic volume up, is people building houses and event venues and things like that on it, so,
I'm just curious your thoughts. Thank
yeah,
you.
okay. To add to that, a minimum requirements organization. As long as you meet the minimum requirements, it's allowed.
Mr. Chairman, I have an additional question and comment.
Go ahead, Mr. Weekly.
And this is more just for the applicant. They can talk offline. I don't know if the current property is in land use and if the planned activity would require changing that. I just always mindful, I try to treat it like my wallet. If I'm applying for something, is there any adverse or fiscal impacts I may take on as part of my project? So, Alan, is that something that, do we know from the commissioner or something that's going to be subject to review?
I know that the Commissioner of Revenue, usually when he discovers activities like this, removes the area of that event from the, or of that activity from the land use program. So if your activity were to encompass approximately 2-acre area and it were currently in land use, there would probably be a rollback assessed on that. I would encourage you to have a conversation with the Commissioner of Revenue who administers that program to anticipate what may happen with your taxes as a result of your proposed activity.
Thank you, Mr. Nichols.
Thank you, Mr. Weekly.
Any additional questions for the applicant or stakeholders? Again, y'all put together a really good package, so I think most of our initial questions were already outlined or bulleted, so thank you again for that. Anything from the county standpoint?
No, conversation will be ongoing as we move forward.
What do we think? Any action?
Second.
All right, motion's been made and seconded to move this case to the Planning Commission for further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, congratulations, guys. We'll see you at the Planning
Thank
Commission.
you.
Any public comment?
Oh, public comment, yeah, I forgot to do that
Do we
one
have
first.
anybody online? I don't think so.
All right, y'all are spared. All right, well, that concludes the new business for today. Yeah, that's it. We don't have any other closed business either. Who's going to get us out of here?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone crazy? Nope. All right.